Okay.
Temur, Scapeshift, and four color blink.
Here's Nick's list. So I see Lightning Bolt, Spell Pierce, Growth Spiral, Counterspell, Wrenn and 6, Fire Ice, Brazen Borrower, Memory Deluge, Scapeshift. That's really interesting. Commentary mode engaged.
So, the cool part about this, okay, 4 Memory Deluge seems like a wild amount. But the only part about this that I really like is, I just like to trace that old Temur one, like the Temur ramp deck. Well, it was just blue-green with Simic with like Prime Times and Dryads and Uro. But obviously, some of those cards aren't legal with Field of the Dead and whatnot. So I had some remnants of that, but the best part about this is being able to play the card Counterspell and then potentially, like, you could, in theory, play Archmage's Charm, but he does not have that in the list at all. Key things to note is we do have 2 Besagus in the deck, only 2 Valakids, 3 Triumphs, so we'll see if them coming in tap causes any issues, but having Growth Spiral should eliminate that problem. And
so he's not running Dryads, it's just...
He's not running Dryads at all. He is running 0 creatures.
Okay. So
well, no, I'm lying. He's running 3 Brazen Borrowers.
Gotcha. So
Which most of the time is used for the bounce effect and then potentially like to hit them for 3 so they're within range when you Scapeshift on 7.
It's like a tempo Scapeshift.
Yeah, I was gonna say, this is like a control deck that just kind of happens to win with the Scapeshift.
Yeah.
Finish.
With 4 copies of Wrenn and Money.
So it's Triumph and then Basic Island. Zine's gonna fetch. 4 color blink. Deck is so powerful.
Yes, it is.
It just upset me they had to pick up 2 entire decks just now to find his land.
That is a beast to shuffle.
That's Zine's list right there.
So okay, to go over Zines a little bit, interesting things is we only have 1 copy of Endurance in the main. We have 1 Eternal Witness in the main, which when you're playing 80, a lot of times you see that squeezed. This is 80, right? Yeah, it's 80. Sometimes you see like a couple of Eternal Witness for the reason of bringing back the cards in your graveyard, like Ephemerate, to get the value. Trying to find where's Solitude. So there is 4 Solitudes. There's 1 Subtlety, and there's 1
Tatiana Protector.
Tatiana Protector.
So Nick,
That's actually crazy.
just to catch up on the action there, Nick went Growth Spiral, and in response, Zine went Eldamri's Call and got an Omnath.
Oh, main deck Spell Pierce. Flashing the Borrower.
Wow. So the ramp for Nick there let him Spell Pierce and Borrower and really took care of that Teferi problem.
So the Borrower cracks. We're down to 16. We have a Cavern in play, which this is probably named on Elementals, but here comes a tap land, which is pretty unfortunate if you're the 4 color blink player. Maybe. Yep. Binding Orion, allowing Nick to just slowly do what he wants. The problem is he might not even win with Scapeshifts. He might just start
6.
cracking down with 6 damage every turn.
Yeah.
And then just turning a Valakid on potentially naturally it's going to be a pretty tough sell.
Okay. Subtlety pitched the Orion. I think that's going to put Brazen Borrower top or bottom.
Of his choice, yeah. There is a fetch and response. We'll go down to 19 for Nick. Maybe 17 if he's playing the shock in this breeding pool. Yo, my man is jacked as shit. Holy cow.
And he put the Brazen Borrower on top. Getting in down to 13.
The Brazen Bar is still going to put in a ton of work. if Zing is not able
Yeah,
to
just
remove it.
bounce anything, whatever.
And I think that's the reason Nick also left the other Brazen Borrower on top, was just to have a flash bouncer, flash threat. Brazen Borrower's gone. We gained 3. I want to say he's up to 22.
22 because of one fetch. Oh, there a second ago.
Solitude gets bolted. As typical play that you would probably see. Nick had his bolt in his hand since the start of the game. Not very good or great against Blink, but does find spots where it's good. Because it can kill like Furies, and kill Solitudes, it can kill tick down baby Tefts. Omnaths, it cannot kill. That's kind of one of the reasons it's like. Select Ephemerate also kind of puts work in on Bolt. So, Zine is at 11 actually, as Nick updated the die for us. I think he ended up shocking in a land or something. Not entirely sure. Other on that comes down with the draw trigger on the stack. Nick's going to bounce it again. He doesn't want him to be able to play in a land in response to gain 4, because he's already got him down so low. Ren 6 coming in is pretty important if Nick doesn't have a way to remove it when Zine gets to untap, because it can just start pinging down these Brazen Borrowers, because they are just nice little small 3/1s. But most likely one of these are going to get flashed in and probably hit it. I think he has another bolt in hand for Nick.
Bolt's not Bolt, thanks so much for the 5 months resub.
We are flash. He has his own Ren 6 now, so he can actually just hit Ren 6, play his own, and then ping it for 1. Nice, Nick. I like that. Because I don't want to confuse you with the Brazen Bar. It can go under my dice. Or like, alright.
His own Ren, pinging Ren.
Only one issue with this, and this problem we were talking about before, is now this Omnath's going to actually be able to come down and generate value if Zine has a land drop to make, but he has a fetch land in play to get that value. Like guaranteed, so he doesn't actually have to have a land in play. Or he's going to fetch first. I'm lying. Just mine.
Down to 10.
A lot of Ren on Ren violence.
Wonder what the basic planes. Zine has a lot of cards in hand. Nick down to 1. And that's what makes Blink so powerful, is the cards just replace themselves.
Yeah. So he's scared of a counter spell, it seems. So he's going to get this baby fairy down first to force that out, and if there's no response, then he's going to be able to down tick, draw, plays on that potentially, unless he has something else in hand, plays a land before? Or Furies the board. That is actually just 10 times better.
Yeah.
Wipe your
So
board.
we were looking at Omnath, thinking it's coming down, but Fury's just the play there.
Scary thing for Zine is it's very possible that, well, there's the Scapeshift, that he can just die anytime soon, because Nick just casts a Scapeshift and goes sick.
Does Zine know what he's playing yet, though?
That's also the other thing. Like, you haven't seen a Valakut. He hasn't prioritized getting mountains. He's cast Counterspell, Brazen Borrowers, Lightning Bolt, and Memory Deluge. So you don't really know.
Right.
Because every Titan / like Scapeshift deck, again, you heard me mention Titan, is generally on Titan's Wish, Dryads, and he hasn't seen any of those cards. But they would assume put land in play. He left a Valakut in the deck to Scapeshift out later. Zine is definitely within range, even if he gains 7 here, because 7 lands with the Valakut and 6 other lands is 18. So he goes up to 14.
He can crack the fetch on the next turn though and gain 4 more and go up to 18.
Well,
14
it's a gain 3 because you have to crack the fetch.
Right, gotcha. Crack the
So
fetch,
like it's
17.
gain 4, yes, but like when you crack a fetch, it's gain.
Right.
Like you lose 1, so you gain 3, kind of.
Okay, so he went ahead. Zine went ahead and fetched, so down to 13, and he made the mana, and now he's Eladamri's calling and grabbing something here.
An endurance. I believe the endurance would be a grab that you would take if you're just not sure what you're playing against. I guess I also don't know what else you grab. I guess in my mind you would grab a backup Solitude. Just if you're like afraid of the Dryad.
Yeah, he might also just want some pressure on the board.
Is the timer not started?
It should have already. It was running. I don't know what happened.
I see it reset.
Oh, that's weird.
I thought it was running too, and then I looked up and saw it fit
Alright.
flat.
Nick casts Scapeshift.
He says, dump all these. So now we just
Did he-
grab.
How many lands did he have?
I would assume he only had 7 because he didn't grab the second
But
Valakut.
that's still enough, right? You just
Yeah,
land plus 6.
it does 18.
Yeah.
So he just has to grab it and mountains. 1,
He-
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mountains and a Valakut all at you. He just said, Zane's just like, show me that you're doing it. The escapes?
All right. Resolving Mulligan. Zine happy with that 6. Nick kept a full grip. Triumph go. Steamens go. Nox subscribe with Prime. 12 months. Thank you. All right, we got to turn to Ren.
It's like flashes, brazen borrowers in now, I dare you. I just sat here and waited for Kyle to say something. And I was like, wait, Kyle's not in the room. Oh, another important thing to note, I guess, for Nick is that he plays 3 Aether Gusts in the side. And I believe that's a copy we saw in hand.
Abundant growth.
Yeah, there's old Aether boy.
Windswept Heath.
Aether Gust's going to be really good here to, like, get rid of Furies and stuff for a turn when you need to. The other part about Aether Gust and, like, these elementals is it's putting it back on top. It doesn't put it back in their hand, so if they can, like, cheat it back into play by exiling, like, a red card or something like that, it's pretty good. Also, this spot right here where he's just like, you want to put your Ren back on top? We're going to Eldamri's call. In response, I don't know what it is we grab. Could be a Fury, Endurance, Solitude, Omnath. That's also a good choice against the Scapeshift deck. Try to get yourself as high as you can so you don't lose to the card Scapeshift. However, if he gets to 8 lands, the damage goes up by double and it becomes 32.
Right.
So, or 30,
36.
36, yeah, dude. Math's hard. There's a reason I'm in the booth and not out there gaming. Misty Pass,
See, Deluge.
Cavern, Elementals. I would assume. Omnath. Draw. Fetch. See what he wants to do. He's going to grab, I believe, the Temur Triumph. Not exactly sure what the names are. Is it Ketria?
Ketria.
Ketria Triumph? I just call them by their colors. Flame Slash coming in clutch. My man didn't even question that. He didn't even be like, play Flame Slash?
Just, oh yeah, Flame Slash.
Yeah, of course. Put it in the bin.
Oh, did I do the wrong side?
Lay it on me, Taryn. What'd you think you did wrong?
Me?
Yeah.
I had the live totals backwards. My bad.
No. Nice. You missed it. Gene's Omnath got Flame Slash, and he just put it in the bin. It was like, that's a nice modern staple you got there. Didn't question it or nothing.
It is a card people are quite familiar with, though.
True. I just haven't seen it in a long time.
Counterspell.
So there would be the reason if he put the Ren 6 on bottom earlier, why he would have, because he had another one. We get a Valakut. A little tough to get it online in this deck for the most part, just naturally. Maybe not tough, but he definitely wants to be able to get these islands for a Magus of the Moon.
Yeah, he's got 3 mountains in play right now.
Yeah. Yeah, because Nick, non-active lands,
What?
if you're
It's-
counting fetch lands, is 8, 9, 10, 11,
What is that?
12,
What-
I think it's a
13.
Titania.
That's the Tatiana, Protector of Argoth.
And Nick has like
Wait, how do you
15
spell it?
lands.
Maybe it is Titania. I don't know.
Titania. It's about like
my
that.
bad. Titania. I'm sorry.
You're just thinking of the song. That's what you're thinking of, dude. You're trying to be hip right now.
You want to pull that up for us, Taryn?
Yeah, I'm trying.
Thank you. We definitely have a reader here.
Enters the battlefield. Return target land from your graveyard to the battlefield. When a land you control is put into the graveyard from the battlefield, create a 5/3 green elemental creature token. So it's very cool when you crack a fetch land in order to put it into play, and then it just ramps you. And if it puts that fetch land into play, while you sack it, then you make a 5/3. So, very cool little thing that you get to do with that card.
Yeah, I think that's what that token is right there. Is a
Yes.
5/3. if I
Yeah,
had to
5/3. That's definitely some pressure on the board.
Sure, I need a judge. But yeah, Fire and Ice, so he's going to be able to tap some down, draw if he needs to. Connor's face dabbing into the mic in the cam. Just where I want it. Nick's now on the play of trying to get as many lands in as he can. That's why he didn't play the one from hand. He used run 6 to get one. Probably going to grab the basic forest. Is that basic forest? I
I
don't know.
believe so.
I mean, there's one in the deck, and it doesn't look like it's basic island, so well, I'm calling it. He goes down to 18. Says, go ahead, sir. In a very peculiar spot. Prismatic ends the Ren 6. That's almost just like a check for the most part. To be like, do you have a counter spell? Or do you care enough about this? Nick, I think we're going to see him ice down one of these, which is going to be the smaller creature.
Oh,
of the
brazen.
two.
That's a brazen bar.
Oh, he had a brazen bar? What? Says, smack you on the noodle key. Goes down by 3, I believe.
So, 14-13, according to the players.
It's a pass. You didn't have a land to make value out of this. Make any more value. It's just playing lands passing. I believe we have a copy of Memory Deluge. And we also will have a Spell Pierce for backup. Potentially on the turn if he's able to find Escape Shift. Zine's just trying to get enough pressure out that he doesn't have time to Escape Shift. But it's looking pretty tough. Blank doesn't generally have a turbo way to kill somebody. They're generally more like, I'm going to control the board really well and then kill you when I can.
That's Deluge out of the graveyard for 7, so Nick looking to dig deep here through the library.
It's pretty tough. Even if Zine has counterspell for this, Nick gets to untap, play another Deluge, right? He still has one in hand.
Yeah.
And then if he can find the land plus Scapeshift, he can just
do it right then and there, and it's done and over. He also will have, with an additional land drop, like he has enough lands right now to do it. If he gets an additional land drop,
He has a land in hand.
Like, it's way overkill. Because as we talked before, if you have 7 lands and no Dryad, that does 18. And then if you have the 8th land, it's obviously counting Valakuts into those 8 lands. It goes all the way up to 36.
Yeah. Oh.
Okay, 3 mana for the force.
Yep. Yeah, I think we're going to see the line Taryn just said. With the land in hand, going to dig for that Escape Shift here. Still has, I see Brazen Borrow and Fire and Ice in Nick's hand, so he's a couple of ways to deal with these creatures and buy another turn or so.
Yeah. Zine has to let that resolve. Looks like we're grabbing a Bolt and a Veil of Summer. The other one's at the bottom. He says, those 2 random enough, sir? Bolt's mama puts in land.
Wanted to do that before Ephemerate comes back.
Brazen Borrower. Bounce your token. And we still have a Veil of Summer for Nick. So he's not completely shields down. There's also a Spell Pierce, which is kind of irrelevant at this point with how many lands we see Zine have. The Spell Pierce will be more or less like trying to back up my Scapeshift if I can. He's going to play Omnath, who dominates the sky. Or I said Omnath, Yorion, who dominates the sky.
It's nothing
That's not fact.
nothing to flicker though.
What? The Abundant.
Oh, I didn't see it there. He had already moved it before. Yeah. My bad. Nick fetching.
Down to 7.
At what point does Nick run out of mountain targets, though, to hit for this Valakut? The Scapeshift? How many lands does he have?
Count how many legitimate targets he has. So, of Mountains of Learn, there's 7, 8, 11.
There's 2 islands, a forest, and a breeding pool in play that he can.
The other thing is, like, you still can kind of, you don't necessarily have to have a ton when you have an additional Valakut, because you can kind of just grab a Valakut and, like, 3 more mountains. And
Right.
it's essentially 6 mountains entering, which
Right.
does 18. So, there's ways around not being, like, having a ton. That's kind of why, like, when you're playing a Valakut deck, you have to keep track of how many mountains you have. Make sure you don't accidentally sack too many and then short yourself one and then not actually be able to do any damage at all.
Right.
And that's most of the time when there's like these 3 color decks or 2, even 2, if it's like blue green and I need a Dryad, I guess. When they're like blue green decks, they make them show them the mountains just in case like the player messed up, which can happen.
Right.
It's happened before.
Zine's gonna tutor up a creature. Nick down to 3.
Nick's is really wanting to flashback his memory deluge, I believe.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of what Zine can get to stop Nick. You know, creature wise, you know, what are the possible targets here? You know, that he could get something to help stop the possible Scapeshift when.
Like a Magus would be an attempt.
You could do Eternal Witness and grab the Force, which looks like what he's grabbing.
Yep.
Although we do know that Nick has the Veil of Summer in hand, so again, it's not gonna matter. You still have to play to your outs. Like if Nick ends up getting to the Scapeshift, I believe there's generally no way that he can lose the game, because he's gonna cast this Eternal Witness, be like target the Force. He allows him to target the Force, put it back in hand. It's a little weird if he's playing to flash back this Deluge. I would like to see the Deluge just get
He's
cast.
Veil Summer though.
Right, but now you don't have Veil back up for your Scapeshift.
Yeah.
So if for whatever reason Zine has another one in hand,
Right.
like
next
now you
turn.
can just pitch and then exile your Scapeshift.
I think he got one. And another Veil.
And another, I mean, if you just get them like that, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. That was a very good play by Zine, and Bricker saw the line grabbing. I was just sitting here trying to think, like, what can
Well, I mean, I got the deck
Elaborate's
list
call
in front of
get?
me. It's a little bit
But
easier
yeah,
that way.
Eternal Witness trying to get that Force.
That Deluge should be.
Yep. And Zine says that's Scapeshift is resolving, and that's the game.